All right, what's happening, fam? L.A.R. movement still moving. Book is entitled Lessons from a Non-Custodial Father at Amazon, Kindle, and Create Space. A link will be in the description box below as usual. Go get it. This video is entitled Nappily Ever After Review. I'm going to be home a couple days and my back is messed up. So, story behind the story. A friend of mine comes over, cut on Netflix. Figure she wants to watch this. So I cut it on. She ignores it for 30 minutes, playing on the phone, and then looks up and says, "Oh, I really wanted to watch this." And I'm sitting there shaking my head like, I got to start this stuff all the way over. So I started over, and she started watching, and I went to Walmart and came back. Now, but I watched it. And a lot of the stuff we've been talking about as far as between the men and the women and gender issues in a cool way came to light. Hair. This because the story is centered around hair. And who taught the who she had an experience, there's gonna be spoilers in here. So she had a bad experience with her hair as a child. The experience stems from her mother. When she was a kid, her grandmother, her mother's mother, let her daughter be natural. And she said she got teased by the boys. The boys called her Willie Mays because she had an afro. So because of that teasing, she went the complete opposite way, and everything had to be about her hair. And in straight hair, quote unquote, mean you were perfect, you know. So the little girl goes swimming. Her mother does her hair. She goes swimming. She jumps in the pool. Her hair gets wet, and kids make fun of her, and then they take her home. And this starts the self-hate prophecy, right? So, when that happened, I'm sitting there with my friend, and I'm like, this doesn't even make sense. But it's part of the movie, right? But I gotta remember, it was like she was a child at a company picnic around non-black people. So she got teased by non-black people, and I'm saying that for a reason. So she comes from a two-parent household. Dad, the parents are splitting up in a sense in the movie. As she's an adult, she's got to be in her 30s or something in the movie. She has a boyfriend, and everything centered around hair. So the same self-hate her mother taught her, she meets a little girl in the thing, and she has the same hate towards her because of her hair. You know, she has straight hair, the girl has natural hair. She start hating on the little girl, but at the same time, the little girl's hating on her because she has her natural hair and she sees a grown woman straighten her hair. So there's like a hair beef between a child and a grown woman, right? They wind up being friends, but we get to that. The thing about it was, because everything centered around her hair and her vanity, she looked crazy. You know, she went through phases of hair. You know, her permed hair is, and with each different hair was a different her, and that was part of the issue. In general, because she had issues with the love interests who were both black men in the show, and both of their interests, both of their issues, kind of centered around this to a degree. They couldn't say, and they didn't know who she really was, because she didn't know who she really was, because she was whoever her hair said she was. You know, which was a problem because the vanity, you know, it was no real relationship until she got to the real person, and the real person was underneath the hair. So who she was with her perm wound up being different from who she was with her weave, which wound up being different from who she was when she decided to turn her hair color blonde, which went different from when she cut it off and she was bald, and then and then new growth, and then she wound up straightening it again, right? And then she went back to uh, her natural hair as it was shorter. So this was the issues, part of the issues. I think it's still a great movie. Like as far as like chick flicks and stuff like that, I think it's a cool movie. I still like First Match better. I just like First Match. I think it was one of the dopest movies I saw. That's on Netflix too, and I did a review on that if I'm not mistaken. But here's the thing: her father loved her for who she was. Her father saw her as beautiful, but since she was a grown woman, he was like, he kind of stepped out of the process of like, look, I can't make you love yourself because you seem to be programmed by this hair. Now the irony was she was a marketer, and the very seemed to be the very white beauty standards that has been shackling black women. She was pushing it. She was getting paid for it, right? And when she was wearing her perms and weaves, it is what it was. But you saw this underlying disdain for because they couldn't represent themselves, because it was her and I think like an Asian chick in the boardroom. But the problem with that was there was also this little tension with the animosity with the men. It's like, when we talk about submission, see, they had no problem submitting to what was perfect and beautiful and white standards. They couldn't challenge that. They didn't want to challenge that. Well, I take that back. They had apprehension challenging it, and they wound up projecting their distaste upon non-white men, because they couldn't speak up for themselves. So because they really had bought into everything they were talking about. And one of the other things about it was the character. She did have a tendency of because she was in her own world at a point. She wanted the world to work a certain way for her. Now she had been counterproductive to what her ideals wanted. But when she didn't get her ideals, she kind of, she like a brat. She have a little tantrum and quit. Same thing happened with the relationship with the dude, the Moon Knight. I call him Moon Knight because I watch American Gods. I don't know his name, but the guy that played Moon Knight, he was her boyfriend at first. She broke up with him, and then he moved on, and she was mad that he moved on. And then she got with this other brother, who was a hairdresser. I know the dude. I can't think of this guy's freaking name either. And I can't think of the other characters he plays in, but he's a good actor. So he's a single dad, and that's his daughter that she winds up being friends with. And they meet because he's a hairdresser, right? And the thing about it was, he was kind of the segue to introducing her to authenticity and finding the real her. But here's the problem. He was the quote-unquote nice guy. So even though he brought the best out of her, ultimately she wasn't going to give her body and her love to that guy. It was the guy who fit her ideals, and more importantly, her mother's ideals, that she was comfortable with chasing. So, and the reason I'm doing this is because, like I said, a female friend of mine who was watching it, and to see her reaction while this stuff was going on, she was like, wait, because she saw the nice dude introduce her to experiencing life and love and intimacy and all that other stuff. And then she saw her turn right around and screw and get engaged to the guy that didn't love her for her. You get what I'm saying? And she, no, don't do it. Oh, don't do it. Please don't do it. And that was the thing. Like, and I'm laughing like, y'all act like, because she's seeing how In some ways it made women look crazy and confused, and in other ways it made women like pay attention to the hypocrisy. You know, like because the situation with the parents. Dad decides he wants to be a male model at, I don't know, 55, 60. And her mother's embarrassed because it makes her look bad, to the world's perception. But here's the problem. Dad's an underwear model. Dad packing that sausage. Now he's out there, spread out there. Yeah, check out this package world. And everybody's like, all the ladies are feeling her dad. Like, I seen your daddy. Oh, I seen your daddy. And her mother's like, and so now mom thinking, she's surprised. Dad's out there with all kinds of women. Do you need some extra water, sir? And they sit, he got a big ass billboard in the background of him laying out. She like, yeah, I'm gonna give you some of this extra wetness. Yeah, go ahead. And the mother just sit there, you raggedy mother. So it's like when you don't want these guys and you think somebody else doesn't, you're sadly mistaken, right? The other thing, the dynamic is the single fatherhood. And one dynamic, as a mere single motherhood, Sanaa Lathan's character didn't have any children. So in some ways you could say, well, she wanted to date the doctor because he was a single man with no kids. She was a single woman with no kids. Right. But the other, so people, so as a man, I didn't take anything, I was like, oh my God, why don't you date? Like, no, relax. But I will say this. With the single father, the difference was he wasn't saying I'm the father and the mother. He understood that there was only so much he could give his daughter. And she was tomboyish because of her, that she was around her dad. You get what I'm saying? So, and he understood where she needed a female presence, And I think partially that's part of the reason why he probably stayed into the hairdresser business because, he saw how female kind of self-hate. He can't have a beautiful. His daughter won't believe she's beautiful if he can't change the minds of the women of thinking that they're beautiful as they are when he's doing their hair. And that was part of his kind of mission statement. So that was an interesting dynamic. And part of the thing that her and the boyfriend brought up, like he said, I don't know you. I feel like we've been on a 2-year first date because I don't know your favorite color, your favorite flower, your favorite wine, because I got to ask somebody else for that because you can't say. And this was an issue in that because her character really didn't, she was a grown woman working well in corporate world, but in a real, in a real social world, she knew who she was in corporate America, but she didn't know who she was in America. It was a problem, and it was this constant, figuring this out. And part of it, a lot of it was self-acceptance, and that that took an issue. And she went to a group meeting, like with some cancer patients, and the lady thought she had cancer, but because she cut her hair off, And that was the other thing about the hair part. It's like the hair part seems so weird to me because she's crying and laughing and breaking down all for hair. Like, as a guy, it's like, we're not going, I got a vein, I got no God, oh no. Like, your hair doesn't define your humanity, but whatever. But even the cancer group was like, look, when they had to do chemo, the first question the sister said that she asked was, what about her hair? And interesting, very, very interesting. The problem with that was she realized, the good thing about that was that she realized there are bigger problems in the world than hair. You know, there are people who dealing with life or death issues, and hair ain't that important. And that was a cool part of it. I think it was a great movie overall. But I gotta say this before I go. You know, at the end, her and the guy that she, not Mr. Nice Guy, she helped him out at the end, but he didn't. They didn't like hook up at the end. Like, you know, happily ever after, she gets the guy, and that freaked my homegirl out so bad. She was like, "Y'all not gonna hook up?" And I'm like, and in my mind, I'm like, she played him. Like, yeah. What you thought? Yeah, like you really thought? Like maybe this is something women need to see. You can't just, you know, guys have been saying this. You can't just put the nice dude or the dude that loves you to the side and put him on the shelf and then go be with, you know, your I guess Mr. Perfect or whatever, and then say, "Oh, that's not gonna work out." But you still here, Daddy. It ain't gonna work. And you know, that's what I think that's part of the premise of the movie also. Like, you know, but ultimately, I got to say this: it was about confidence, because even in the cancer thing, the lady was like, "Look, of course nobody pays you any attention because you're not confident in your look. You don't own who you are yet. You only own your confidence when you got, you know, a weave, a perm, a wig on. You don't own it when you just bare you." So, you know, that's what I'm saying. Peace.